So as usual, when a first the requirements for as usual, like a data science project will be coming from either the same company itself if it is a product base, or it will be probably coming from a service based company. uh, Service based companies usually have a lot of clients. They get a data science project. Now as the first step, if I consider the life cycle of a data science project, we go with something called as requirement gatherings. Okay. Now requirement gatherings are pretty much important whenever we are talking about requirement gatherings, because here we need to understand who are the people that are involved in gathering the requirements, right? So usually in any agile process or any projects that you are actually solving in a company, they usually follow an agile process because that is the most efficient process itself, right? So in that particular case, what happens is that obviously every companies have business analyst. Okay. Now business analyst work will be that he will try to talk with the product owner, talk with the domain expertise. Remember, who is the product owner? Product owner will be owning this entire project in terms of delivering the client. Okay. So this product owner may be the person, may be the employee from the company from where this data science project is actually coming. Okay. So he or she will definitely be the employee of this particular company who is coming up with this data science project. If this project is coming from a product based company, that basically means this product owner may be the head of some department who wants to solve some problem. If this project is for a service based company, this product owner may be the employee of that particular client, who will be working in that particular client. So what happens is that in this requirement gathering, the product owner or domain expertise, because domain expertise is also required, what all things needs to be implemented, they need to jot it down. And when we are following an agile process in this particular scenario, and probably in every project nowadays agile process is being followed. Okay. So this business analyst will be doing a lot of discussion with domain expertise and product owner, and then what will happen is that they will try to jot down all the requirements. After they jot down all the requirements, these requirements are next sent to the data analyst or data scientist. Now this is very very important. Why this requirement that is gathered is basically sent it to the data analyst or data scientist, because they are the person who will now decide, okay, for this particular project, from where should we take actually the entire data set. Because to implement any data science project, the major important thing will be that you need to have huge amount of data. So data analyst or data scientist will then decide, like, from where we can actually take up this particular data, and how do we take it, whether do we they be dependent on the third party APIs, or whether should we be dependent on the probably the company itself. The company will also have some internal data, right, with respect to the product that they are working. Apart from this, there will be a lot of other information that they will be looking for. Now if suppose, then they will basically decide, right, from where. Probably they'll say that, okay, together, to suppose I require some kind of weather data. So for the weather data, I may be dependent on third party APIs. Probably I want to determine how many persons have actually taken this particular product. So I may be dependent on the client company itself, right? So something like this, they will be coming up to a conclusion. And remember, they also need to do the discussion with the domain expertise and product owner. Now domain expertise is the person who has amazing amount of years of experience with respect to the data science project, or with respect to the domain that is involved in this data science project. Okay. Probably this may be a finance project, probably this may be a e-commerce project, probably this may be a retail project. So there are various ways how do you decide with respect to what all domains it can be, and domain expertise will definitely play a very important role. And if you don't have a very good domain expertise person, guys, trust me, there is high probability that your project may fail. Okay. In my real world experience, I've seen many projects getting failed because we did not had this particular person who's a domain expert into that, because we are just not talking about simple data science project. It will be usually an extensive data science project. You'll be requiring a lot of information with respect to the implementation that you want to do. So definitely data analyst, data scientist, along with the domain expertise and product owner, they will have a discussion, and then they'll come to a conclusion that which all data will actually be required. Okay. Now once this particular discussion is done, then they come to a conclusion that okay, from this many third party or this many for my internal database, I will be taking basically all this specific data. Then they will set up a system in collecting this specific data. Now that system will involve cloud people, it may involve big data engineering people. Okay. Cloud people, why I'm saying, because probably you'll be requiring live stream data. Okay. Probably from an IoT device, you want to continuously take that specific data, probably on a frequency of 1 day, right? So that kind of system needs to be set up in order to collect this particular data. That is very, very important. Okay. Then you go to a life cycle of a data science project. Now we'll discuss about the life cycle of a data science project. Over here, how many different roles we have seen. Over here, we have seen domain expertise, we have seen product owner, we have seen business analyst, we have seen data analyst, we have seen data scientist, we have seen cloud or third party APIs. When we have this cloud, right, we'll be probably seeing cloud engineers, we'll also be seeing big data engineers. So this many roles has been particularly involved. But still the question rises, we are much more focused into analytics part. So the roles over here that I want to first of all talk about is what is the work of data analyst. Now if I go to the next slide, just a second. Okay, what is the work of data analyst? So data analyst, if I consider, guys, they focus on, see, as soon as this data is taken, right, this entire data is now collected. See over here, it is collected. Now this collection process will require big data engineer team help. It will also require cloud engineering team help. Big data engineer, because they will try to think of a way that how they can efficiently store huge amount of data in a specific databases. Okay. Cloud engineers, how they will actually focus on collecting the live stream data, also that will be getting focused over here. Now let's go to the next step. What will data analyst focus on? So first of all, we'll understand what are the programming languages usually data analysts work on. So programming languages like Python and R programming language they usually work on. The next thing is that what are the business intelligence tool that they will probably be working. Data analysts I'm talking about. Okay. So you have business tools like Tableau, Power BI, ClickView, Dundas, BI, Pentaho. So these all are some business intelligence tools. What is the exact use of business intelligence tool? If you really want to understand, they will be creating this amazing visualization reports. Now this visualization reports, one of the example I've shown over here, this is very, very handy for the stakeholders to take some amazing decisions. You know, they will definitely be able to make some amazing decision skills by just seeing all this particular information. Now let me just consider and let me show you one important thing here. Now suppose I have this information entirely, my total sales and profit. Let me consider a very simple use case. Suppose I'm probably I'm owning a bank, and in one of the area I want to open the ATM machine. So I will just try to see that near that particular area, how many people have actually taken out the money from the ATMs nearby area, what is the frequency, what is the overall population. And when I create this kind of reports, these reports will be sent to the stakeholders. Then the stakeholder will be able to decide definitely that should we open an ATM in that specific area or not, right? Because if an ATM is opened, you know, there should be a lot of transaction, people should be taking out money, because there is electricity, there is a lot of things that is involved, right? And as people, you know, what they do is that they take out more and more money, it will definitely be helpful for the bank itself. So this kind of reports definitely data analyst will be creating. Tableau reports, this is an example of Tableau reports, like with different graphs. Here you can also see that they have used different countries to showcase some of the things. Then what are the technical skills required for a data analyst? You can just understand in this way that they require basic maths and statistics, programming skills, domain knowledge, data understanding, ETL tool knowledge, Power Query for Power BI, identifying the structured data and unstructured data, and he should be also very, very good in EDA, right? Some of the data analyst career prospects, guys, this is an amazing skill altogether. Don't think that you know, data analyst jobs are not there and all. There are a lot of opportunities, and these are some of the opportunities like market research analyst, actuary, business intelligence developer, business analyst, budget analyst, credit analyst, and many more like this. But remember one thing, if you are going inside this particular role, you should be very, very good at one of this specific domain. If you want to do finance, if you are probably going for financial analyst, right, you need to be good at finance. You need to have some good amount of knowledge with respect to finance. If you are planning to go with respect to machine learning analyst, you should be good at machine learning. Like this, whichever analyst you want to actually become, you really need to have that specific domain knowledge with you. Okay, so this is with respect to data analyst career prospects. Some of the non-technical skills that are required by a data analyst is that he should be a good storyteller, he should be very good at research, communication skills should be very good, problem solving, teamwork, and many more. Okay, now the things comes at how do we make a transition from data analyst to data scientist. See guys, what I have done is that I've combined entire things like life cycle of a data science project. Now first of all, you have understood what is the use of like business analyst, product owner, domain expertise. Now we have also understood about data analyst. Now if you really want to understand what does a data scientist do, and apart from that, I've also made this particular PPT where you can make a transition from data analyst to data scientist. Now this is the entire work of data scientist. Okay, now see this, as I said that after you get the requirement gathering, then what happens, data scientist or data analyst will be doing discussion with your product owner, domain expertise. They'll try to collect this information, they'll try to figure out from where all the information can be collected, and finally this all information is basically stored in a databases where probably you are using a concept of big data engineering, right? So with the help of them, they are basically storing the specific data over here, and then comes the next step, that is the okay, here also I have included what is the work of data analyst, life cycle of data science project. The data analyst will take, he will do EDA, he'll be creating reports, and then finally he'll be providing to the stakeholders. I think we have discussed about this. Okay, now let's go to the next step. Here is the entire life cycle of a data science project. Now what all things are here, we'll discuss step by step, one by one, everything. So here it is, you have something called a life cycle of a data science project. The first step usually is feature engineering. Second step is feature selection. The third step is model creation and hyperparameter tuning. The fourth step, final step, is basically model deployment. And before this, you can see that there is something called as Docker image, Docker container. This is specifically for the deployment purpose. And finally, you have monitoring and retraining. Now here you can consider over here, guys. With respect to feature engineering, you have with respect to feature engineering, what are steps you actually do? You have something called as EDA, handling missing values, handling outliers, categorical encoding, normalization and standardization. Then in the next step, you have feature selection. Now see, these all are basic steps, because all the time you'll not be getting a very clean data. You'll be getting a very bad data altogether, guys, in the real world scenario. Okay, you'll be having a lot of missing values over there. You'll be having a lot of outliers, you'll be having a lot of categorical variables. So what are the various techniques in order to solve that? That is given over here. Then you basically have feature selection. In feature selection, you have correlation, forward elimination. Like this feature selection is nothing but it try to understand like how many number of features are important from a specific data set. Do we require to take the entire data set, or just we can solve this entire problem statement with less number of data sets? So that is what we actually use this. Then we have model creation, hyperparameter tuning. In model creation and hyperparameter tuning, you have various techniques like grid search CV, randomized search CV. So here you are, in short, you are basically focusing on making your model good itself. So that is the reason why we are using this. Then we have the model deployment process. This is called a Dockerization, guys. By using Dockers and Kubernetes, we make the model deployable and scalable. So that is specifically required for model deployment. What are the different process that we usually do in order to deploy the model? We basically use AWS, Heroku, Azure, Google Cloud platform. So these are the various different platforms that we basically use. Then finally, you go to the model monitoring and retraining approach, wherein after some specific period of time, we focus on monitoring and retraining the model again and again. Okay, so that this is a continuous process, and this process goes on unless and until you're collecting the data and you are actually solving your problem statement with respect to that. Okay, so this was it, the life cycle. Again, as a data scientist, what all this was the entire life cycle, guys. What all programming languages you should focus on as a data scientist? You can go with Python, R, and Julia. Julia programming language is still developing, probably after 5 years it may be used, because Julia programming language is pretty fast when compared to Python in terms of execution, but you can focus on these three programming language because they have some very good abundant number of libraries. What are the databases probably you need to learn is like MySQL, MongoDB, Elasticsearch, Hadoop, Hive, Google Big Table, Amazon S3, Cassandra. So if I take my experience, guys, with respect to various companies, I have worked with MongoDB, MySQL, Cassandra, Amazon S3, and Google Big Table. I see there was an option for me to select Hadoop and S3. I went with S3 because my organization was actually using AWS. So that is the reason why we went with Amazon S3, and this was basically amazing database altogether, and was pretty much very good to learn, because this has a lot of functionalities. AWS has amazingly created it. It is also very very cheap to use this S3 bucket. Okay. Libraries and tools to be good at as a data scientist, you need to be good at NumPy, Pandas, sklearn, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Dask, SkyPy, Keras, and then you have Cafe, PyTorch, TensorFlow, NVIDIA CUDA libraries to basically interact with your GPUs. And nowadays the GPUs that are much more famous is NVIDIA itself. Okay. Now let's go to the next step. IDEs that are used by data scientists usually works for. So you can basically use PyCharm, you can use Jupyter Notebook, Spider, VS Code. I think if you are going with PyCharm, that will be more than sufficient. PyCharm is an amazing tool which you will be able to use it for your coding purpose. So IDEs basically means integrated development environment. Okay. Cloud platforms that are basically used by data scientists and all. You have Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Platform, Heroku, and Cloud Foundry. Remember, out of all this top three are the most famous one, like Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud Platform. These are the most used cloud platforms that are actually available. Okay, and these are very good platforms. You can consider that they are competitors to each other, but AWS I think is pretty much amazing. I love AWS. I've worked on both Azure and AWS, but I like the AWS altogether. Okay. CICD pipelines, because you also need to set up a pipeline to automatically deploy your code. So for that you have Circle CI and Jenkins. Jenkins is the most popular used one. I have been using Jenkins from 2000, as soon as I passed out from my college in 2011. So from then I know about Jenkins, and it is being an amazing tool to do the create the CI/CD pipeline. So this is more towards the DevOps side, how you can automate your deployment process. That is why it is basically used. And then different roles in analytics industry: data analyst, data scientist, machine learning engineers, machine learning researcher, AI engineer, and computer vision developer. Right now my role in iNeuron is like an AI engineer. AI engineer basically means that I have to really work on everything that I get with respect to the problem statements that we are trying to solve. Okay. Coming, and always remember, this is the last point in the entire. If you really want to get into data science, it's not like you learn today and from tomorrow you don't learn. Every day there is a new research paper that are coming with respect to different problem statements, and it is very very much important that you know you be very very good at it. You have to really be very very good at it. If you are not good at it, trust me, you will not be. See, it's not like about not working, but the things that you'll deliver to the business, right? Some, and most of the time data science projects can also lead to a loss of it may lead to a heavy loss to the business, right? Because you are actually making a decision based on some AI automated thing, right? And if that AI automated thing is not built in a proper way, trust me, there will be definitely huge loss to the business. So you need to learn continuously. You need to be learning new things. You need to be implementing new things. It's not like today you finished it and you got a job, tomorrow I don't have to learn. It is not like that. You really have to continuous learning daily. That is the reason why I upload videos every day. I explore new things. This is the reason that I need to learn continuously. And probably if you are also able to do it, it is well and good. Okay. Now this was it from my side. I'll just show you some of the examples of the project that we probably I had also uploaded this. Just a second. Let me just show you some of the examples. Okay, so I'm just going to present your screen. Just a second, guys, give me a minute. Okay, now this was one of the recent object detection that I had actually implemented. So I'll just show you how this output looks like. Okay, so I hope everybody is able to see my screen. Can you give me a quick yes? Some notebook file like that. Yeah. Now see this, if as soon as I execute this, you will be able to see that what is getting displayed. This is an example of object detection. Uh, Object detection where it is detecting cars and bikes. Uh, this is one of the example. This may be definitely useful in very areas like it may be used by traffic signal people, governments and all, to track not only this detection. You'll be able to track this kind of license plate. You'll be able to track different information completely from this entire project. Okay, so this is just one example. If you really want to see an example of an end-to-end project, what I'm going to do is that I'll just show you over here. So uh, let me just show you quickly. Now this is how your project entirely looks like. You have so many files and all over here. Now let me just run this particular thing for you. Just a second, let me run it, and let me just show you one example. Okay, just a second, guys. I am just trying to run this code so that you will be able to see it. Python, okay, now my code is basically getting run. Okay, now I will just run it. See this, everybody. 127.0.0 So this is a simple image classification. Probably this can be used in various industries. Now I'm just going to choose an image over here. Probably this is my diseased cotton leaf. If I select this, if I just do the prediction, now here you will be able to see that it will be displaying that this leaf is diseased cotton leaf. Now for this, what all things I have actually done is that we have trained our model by using different image classification technique, and all these tutorials are available in my YouTube channel, because if I try to do it right now, it will probably take more than half an hour just to train the model. So I don't want to much focus on that, but everything, this kind of stuffs are available in my YouTube channel. Okay, this is my model file, which is called as resnet 50. I probably be using this, and I'm getting an accuracy of somewhere around 90, more than 90%. So here it is. Let's see some more examples. Suppose I go and select this and do and predict. Okay, now here you'll be able to see that all the outputs. Just a second, I will just select it and just do the prediction. So here you can see that leaf is diseased cotton leaf. So like this you have various categories like this: diseased cotton plant, fresh cotton leaf, fresh cotton plant. Okay, so you can try it out anyhow. This is present in my YouTube channel itself. Okay, so this is one example, but we always need to make sure that this model gets continuously trained. Tomorrow I have a new images. These all images are basically taken from webcams. I'll show you one more examples. So here you see this. I have a drone which I had actually taken from my research purpose, and here you can also see that this is with the help of my drone. I have taken some videos of my local inside my community. So here you can see that this is entirely showing up various things, like this. I'll show you one more example. Instead of doing test1, I'll do test.mp4. Now here also you can see that how it is detecting all the persons, right? At whatever distance it may be, it will be able to determine bicycle, person, everything, whatever we want, you know. So these are some of the examples that I'm probably doing, and I'm also going to start this object detection tutorial very soon. Keep following my YouTube channel. I'll try to develop this completely from step by step, and then we'll try to understand how it is implemented. So yes, this was all from my side. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Yes, guys, if you have any questions, please you can ask me.
So, sir, hi, sir. My name is Krima. I have a question regarding the technology. You specified AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud.
Uh-huh.
So, recommend us to learn all of them,
No,
or
no, no. You can just learn one of them initially. Like
Mhm.
start with AWS. I'd suggest later on, if you are able to understand AWS, other will also be almost similar like that only.
Okay, cool. Do they have some advantage over the other, or they're equally important?
No, no, no. See, it is all about like how many features AWS has, how many features Azure has. You know, if probably to solve a particular problem statement, if only, and it also depends on the organization. So organization, whether they are using AWS or Azure. Today they may be using AWS. After 4 to 5 years, they may move into Azure. That depends on the business decision. So it is good that you learn at least one, be good at it, so that probably today if you're learning AWS, after some years you want to learn Azure, most of the functionalities of AWS, right, will be almost similar to Azure itself. So you will be also able to understand that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, any more questions, guys?
So, any student, if you want to ask any question, then please ask so that your doubts may be clear. No question? Okay, fine. So, we are very much thankful to Mr. Krish for giving a nice talk on. He also means he just shown about what is the work of data analyst, then what are the various roles, and of course he has also shown that which are the various IDEs available, what programming languages should we choose, what libraries are there, what are the various development deployment platforms. So of course and all these things are required in various steps, various stages of the data science project, and it will be very much helpful to all of us. So Mr. Krish, very much thankful to being with us.
Thank you, Mahesh. Not a problem.
Thank you. Please, please. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, all of you.